So today is Tuesday, January 13th, I think. Just got back from a little coffee house where me and my husband had some coffee and some tea with Steve Sanchez, who I've talked about many times before. And this is the third night we've been here, so we've seen him about 3 times. And we're leaving tomorrow in the morning, real early. Gonna start heading back home. And yeah, so a lot of interesting things, were said, and it was just good, seeing Steve again. He's actually one of the first people we met through the Experienes Foundation. He was a director at the Santa Clara School, which is where we came from, and he taught some of our first classes that we had there. So he's a really good guy. We met his wife and his little girl. It was pretty fun. They seem like really nice people, really happy family. Definitely something that's been coming up with all of us talking together is themes of kind of looking at experiences that Steve had, experiences that me and my husband had, and just looking how there's these patterns, to these people at the Experienes Foundation where they just do the same thing over and over. It's like, I don't think they'll really change or stop trying to steal people's money and houses and cars and whatnot. I think that's, for some reason, they have it in their head that they're entitled to everything that everything that a person owns, if it looks good to them. So that's one of the themes we were talking about. Steve was talking about kind of some things that they took away from him, and another man there named Larry, who actually committed suicide, very likely due to the stress and just the environment of the place. But of course, that's just my opinion. I mean, I didn't know him. I just heard stories about him, so I don't really know what happened there. But, I can only guess from my experience. If you're already really psychologically unstable and you go to a place like this where some guy like Bill's yelling at you constantly and constantly trying to get money from you and just take everything from you and your soul, that can really send someone over the edge. And I know several people at the Academy that are still there that have gone over the edge several times in their time at SRF. And then carry on with this theme of SRF just taking things from people. The directors just thinking they're entitled to people's property. We know another gentleman there that's still there who had his house that he inherited actually, well, I'd like to say stolen from him, because they used a lot of the whole mind control and fear and intimidation to basically get him to sign over the house in their name. His portion of the house anyways. And then there's us. My husband and I had the same experience where they wanted our house. They said we couldn't live in it, we couldn't own it. There's no way we could ever be happy in it, so we might as well sell it, tithe on it, buy another house, tithe on that, which would mean that they would get almost $100,000. And it doesn't even make sense, the whole tithing thing that they talk about. Like, no church expects you to tithe on a house that you sell, and then when you purchase another house, to tithe on that right away. And then their other option was we could just sign over the property to them. And that would help cleanse the energy on the house. At least that's what I heard. So that makes no sense to me whatsoever. So yeah, so that's definitely one of those recurring themes that we were talking about. And yeah, you know, it's very hard for a leopard to change his colors, you know, and when you're in that mindset of entitlement, feeling that you deserve everything and that you're always right, which, you know, the directors at the Spiritual Rights Foundation definitely, that's how they operate. They feel they're always right. They're hardly ever wrong. Even if they are wrong, they don't want to admit it. If they're wrong, it's only just the most minor thing. They're always covering up stuff. It's, yeah, pretty wild. So, yeah, so that was one of the things. So I'm going to say good night, or maybe do another one, talk about something else, but that's the end of this little segment.